Hey there. So if you ever hear me getting really excited about the possibilities with Playbook Builder, you've heard me say that I believe the one idea we understand is that communications are an essential part of your success. Putting things in the cloud, creating processes, documenting SOPs, turns out there is no ROI really for just documenting them. It all comes when you drive adoption and engagement with that content. That's where the change happens. That's where you see less chaos. That's where you steal your time back. So if we're going to really drive an empowered community, really lift them up, we've got to make sure not only do they remember that Playbook Builder exists, we're going to go one better. We are going to get them right into the communication. We're going to get them right into the training using some very robust marketing tools that are built right into your platform. So I'm going to click on communications. It's here on the right-hand side, and there are 4 components to it. There's welcome message, which we'll talk about later. There's the alerts function, which I'm going to talk about now, as well as the campaigns feature. Let's dive into these two. The alerts function is kind of like an all broadcast tool. You can send emails and texts right from the platform spontaneously or schedule them for later on, and they can link to learning content. So imagine I can click here to all account users, or maybe I just want to pick a specific team, like just my new hires. So let's just say I had some issues with new hires on casual Fridays, and I want to remind them of our dress code. So I'm going to go to the link section here. It's going to ask me which playbook, and I'm going to say, well, I'm looking for the new hire onboarding playbook, and I'm going to grab a step in there called dress code. So I'll just find the dress code step that houses an explanation of what's appropriate attire on casual Fridays, and I'll write a little email. Hey, have a look at this, guys. I'll write them all an email. If they're under 40, the chances of them reading an email are pretty slim, so why don't we send them a text message and supplement the communication with a text. Now, I can hit save, and it will fire this alert off immediately, and it'll reach all of those learners associated with the team called new hire. If I don't want to have everybody in there, I can take a couple of them off, but let's just say I've got it squared away. I want to hit save. It'll fire immediately. However, if I want to, I can schedule it for later. Maybe I'd like it to go out tomorrow or Friday or what have you. I could even make it go out on a reoccurring basis. It's up to you. The power of the alerts function is that in your dynamic environment, you can use Playbook Builder as a communication delivery system. Better than email because it is going to be housed in the platform. You can send it out immediately. You can schedule it for later. And if somebody joins the company a month afterwards, that content is still inside of here. So if we're talking about habituating a community of users, training them, getting them accustomed, building a habit that they're inside this platform, using the alerts function will drive them in over and over again because you are updating them about new content or reminding them of things. Now, I know you're busy and we want to make your life easy. That was the main goal of Playbook Builder, is to simplify your life and buy your time back. And the communication tools are designed to do that. If you have time to send alerts, fantastic, and I hope you will. But I know that some quarters are busier than others. So we also built you like a fully functional marketing software right inside of Playbook Builder, something like a Constant Contact or a MailChimp, where you can build a campaign of emails, texts that'll go out to your learners on a predetermined schedule, but Playbook Builder is smart enough to also send those messages based on your users' behavior. So how they're interacting with the software will dictate which kind of messages they get to either remind them and nudge them along or acknowledge and encourage them for good behavior. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. This is a welcome aboard C-suite email, and it says, here's the subject line, a little bit of text. I do have it linked to the onboarding playbook, but that's elective. If I turn this off, it's just a communication. I also can double down with a text. Again, that's elective. I can decide who should see this. Well, in this case, my new hire team will receive this email. And then here's the magic. This is a campaign trigger. This is the way that you will save time. You can schedule this email to go out when you want it to. In this case, the trigger is when a user is created, and in this case, hour later, this email will fire. And you don't have to think about it for the rest of your life. It will just simply fire. I showed you momentarily in the previous videos how to add users. Well, an hour later, they'd get a welcome message from you encouraging them to dive in with a link to the onboarding playbook right inside that email. All done inside of Playbook Builder for you. But is that enough? Of course not. So we're going to do what marketers do. We're going to build a campaign. We're going to have a second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe a dozen emails that go out over the course of the year. This is the how's your training. You can call these whatever you want, of course. These are just examples. But I've got like a hey, follow up on their second day. What do you think the trigger is? Well, the trigger on this one is previous email. So I go to the previous email, which was the first, welcome aboard, and 2, in this case, days later, this email goes out. You see what I'm doing? I'm building a daisy chain of emails that go out just like you would do for marketing to a learner. All automated, just goes on a schedule. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to remember. You don't have to go plug it in every single time. It will just run for you. Now, we love that. We also got creative with the platform and built triggers based on user behavior, as I'd said. Here's a Playbook reminder email. I'm being a little cheeky, but we say, hey, Playbook misses you. And this one goes out if the learner hasn't been in the system for a while. We call it inactive for a certain amount of time. My preference is 20 days. Yours could be longer or shorter. It's up to you. You don't even have to use this trigger. You could acknowledge a user for logging a certain amount of time. Hey, great job. Thanks so much. Or when they complete their first playbook, or when they complete a specific survey or a step inside of a process. It's up to you. But what we've found is that by delivering these touches, by poking your learner in the ribs with a nice reminder or an acknowledgement of their behavior, we can drive the right kind of activities and then keep them coming back into the platform to continue their learner's journey and develop in them a love of learning through Playbook Builder so they discover what they need in here when they need it. So by sort of training them to come back in over and over again, this becomes a familiar, safe platform. They become fluent with what's in here, and it's no longer a question of you creating a bunch of content and then wondering why no one's using it. It was always a marketing problem, and we've solved it right inside your account. So play in here. This is probably the most important advice I'll give you. If you put great content in your accounts, but forget to remind people, don't be surprised if your project doesn't work as you'd hoped. But if you'd like to see the return on investment, you'll absolutely love that within Playbook Builder, you can drive your users to engage with it. Thanks for watching.